Greetings and felicitations once again, fellow modelers. Welcome to my little humble part of the galaxy. How you doing? Got a lot in store for you on this video. We do a Mobius Models kit review on the 39-inch Seaview. Woohoo! Do some scratch building, some electronics, some refit work on the Polar Lights buildup I'm doing, some detail paint, a lot in a short video. I'm trying to make these videos as short as possible because I know after about 20 minutes you start to lose people. So I'm not going to get into anything else other than what I'm doing right now. Lance, I've got more work done than what you see in this video. I just had too much video. So more coming. Stay tuned. Same man channel, same man time. Let's get to it. Here's a little demonstration I've been wanting to do. As you can see here, I've got my blue detail painted forward with masking tape. I've got my fiber optics exposed so that when everything's closed up and sealed up, I can just take fingernail clippers and clip off the ends, and I'll have a perfect light tunnel for the white light to come through the beauty lights. Now, I've taped all of this off and then very carefully cut out this design on the forward part of the nacelle to paint it copper. Now, I would normally do this by hand with a little bottle of copper paint, but I'm out of copper paint. But I do have some in a spray bomb. So I'm going to tape a piece of newspaper around here and around the front, use the rattle can, shake the hell out of it, and then I'm going to just do a quick light coat of the copper over the blue, let that dry thoroughly, and then hit it with a light black wash. I'll show a picture of the actual studio model after the credits. Now, as you can see, I've got all this taped off and covered with newspaper, so I'm going to hit this with one quick pass after I shake the rattle can and get it all mixed up really well and atomize, so it'll atomize nicely when it comes out of the nozzle. And there you go. Now I'll unwrap the rest of this and I'll hit this with a light black wash as soon as this paint fully cures. There you go. Okay, as you can see here, I totally reshot the inner walls of the shuttle bay as I'm getting ready to run fiber optics and do a finished decal set on this. I'm going to add some railing that doesn't come with the kit. It's some of the brass etch that my friend John made up. And I'm going to move forward on getting this shuttle bay finished up. But I wanted to show the nice new clean shiny paint job. Okay. I've also been working on the engineering hull of Lance's refit. As you can see right there, I filled in that little square hole where the stock base attaches. Filled it in, recut the grid lines, shot it with gloss. Got a good clean gloss coat on everything. So I'm going to shoot that with Pearl today. I'm going to add the fiber optics in the rear, and I'm going to probably get ready as soon as the Pearl is totally cured. I'm going to start masking it off for details. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at there on the engineering hull, Lance. So there you go. As you can see here, I've got the upper portion of the engineering hull just about ready for detail. I've still got a couple of small things I've got to clean up, and I've got a couple of areas where I've got to add some more putty, and I really hate it, but you know, I'm not going to let this ship go out of here until it's 100%, and it's just not 100% right now. It's not ready for decal application just yet, but I did want to show that Pearl. Look at how that Pearl reflects the light. I mean, that's just beautiful. Now, it didn't show up in the still pictures much, but it does show up really nice Now when I add the masking and the details, this is really going to look sharp. Again, we tried to go subtle because that's what Lance wanted. And as you can see here, I've still got a seam that's got to be filled in. You know, I was working on it and everything looked good, and that seam opened right back up. Oh well, such is life. Now here's the starboard side of the neck. I had this just about where I thought it was ready to be sealed up and good to go to start masking. And I found a little flaw in it. There was a fingerprint. So I went after it and started sanding it again. So I've got to tape it all off, shoot it with some more white, and then hit it with pearl. I've got to cover up where I sanded. But I don't want to put too thick of a coat of paint on here before I start masking everything off. I just want it to have a nice, good, gloss white coat of paint so I can go ahead and shoot the pearl. So that's something else I'm going to be addressing today. Okay, well, here's some of the detail parts I've been working on. Here's another shot of the neck that I showed in the last movie. I don't know if it's going to pick up the detail, but there's a lot more detail than what you're seeing for some reason. I'm just not getting it. I'm guessing it's a trick of the light, or I don't know what. But there's the neck. The port side of the neck is finished. The starboard side of the neck is being reworked. Here's the little intercooler or Dumaflachi, whatever you want to call it, that goes up in here. Here's that beautiful copper tone. I just had to show it before I did a wash on it. The one thing about this ship is when you get close to starting adding all the final detail and whatnot. Now see, you can see the detail in the neck from a distance. I don't understand that. When you start adding the detail, this pearl paint and the copper and all the detail paint, this thing really starts looking pretty after a while. I can't wait to get further along on the 50-inch refit. Anyway, all of this has been painted. These are details that are going to go into the nacelles. Today I do finish paint on these, get these ready to glue into place. I've got to tape off 3 more areas just like this to do the copper tone on the nacelle. And I did want to show some of the work I've been doing on my scratch built landing gear for the UFO. How do you like that? Nifty, huh? I'm not done yet. I'm going to add some ribbing and some more detail because I want this to look good. I'm thinking very seriously of molding this part up and making copies and selling a kit bash kit for that Testors UFO. Got a lot more in store for you, but this movie's starting to run long, so that's about it for this movie. Here's a little something I'm working on for myself. This is the AMT repop of the MPC Daytona transport truck and the Beatnik Bandit by Big Daddy Ed Roth from back in the 60s. As you can see, I've got it started on both of them. I've got primer on all the parts, base coats on several parts. This is going to be a fun kit. I'm going to turn this into essentially a Federation transport truck for transporting broken down Federation vessels. This, the Beatnik Bandit, is going to be Captain Kirk's hot rod. Nice. Both kits are good kits. I've built probably both of them back in the day. The Daytona kit comes with both light blue glass and windows and clear. I've already started with the clear. I'm going to keep the light blue and turn it into its own separate model case. As you can see here, this is the chassis, or the inside cab of the back of the AMT Amtronic. I tried to fit that into the transport truck and it just wasn't going to happen. Anyway, I'll give you guys an update on this. I've had these models sitting around for a couple of months and I've got contract work to do, and that takes precedence. Anyway, on to the next thing. Now here's something I've been working on for a while. This is a replacement correction part for the 18-inch TOS Enterprise from AMT. I'm going to cast this in clear so that it's going to be real easy to light. You can add your square windows, the 4 square windows that are around the perimeter, the outer perimeter of the primary hull. I've got to work on the lower primary hull and finish up the nacelles and a couple other things, and I should have a complete correction kit for this ship. Toot sweet. Okay folks, here we have some basic electronics components and a digital multimeter. Now this digital multimeter comes in really handy for a whole lot of uses, and I will get into every one of them. Primarily it's used to test resistance, power applied, current flow, etc. You use this to double check your ohm rating on your resistors and to check your voltage applied to make sure that your DC power supply is up to speed and at the voltage that you need it to be. This is a 9-volt battery. This is essentially a DC power supply, self-contained DC power supply. All these electronic circuits run off of, for the most part, direct current. That's what DC stands for. Now, the plugs that you plug into the wall and plug into some of your electronic equipment is a rectifier. Okay, that's a built-in rectifier designed to specifications for a certain number of milliamps or amperage and a certain voltage setting, i.e. 4.5 volts, 5 volts, 6 volt, 9 volt, 12 volt, etc. Now let's get to some of the basic components. Okay, we got your DC power supply, you got your DC connector. These leads will supply power directly to your circuit. This is your circuit board. This is a little hobby board. As you can see, I've used this. I need to desolder it and clean it up. This is a little hobbyist board. Here's your capacitor. This is a basic electrolytic capacitor, which means it has a specific way to go into a circuit. It's got a specific polarity, and you're only able to plug it in one way or it will not work. Some basic Radio Shack on-off switches, push button switch resistors, an LED. This is a little battery tester, or a little LED tester that I made with a little 1.5 volt button battery so that I can go through and double check all my LEDs before I put them in a circuit. Here's your basic connecting wire. This is a little bucket of transistors. There are different types of transistors. Mostly transistors are made for power and voltage control, amplification, that type of thing. Here we have two of the main components. Each one of these is a rack full of specific type of IC chips. These are the primary components in almost every flasher circuit, chaser circuit, blinker circuit, you name it. What they consist of are 4017 counter dividers and NE556 dual timers, or you can use 555s if you just need one timer. These are the two primary components for virtually every chaser circuit that you see out there. Those two chips. And I think for 20 chips, I might have paid $10, maybe. So there you are at 50 cents a piece, which is kind of like what I said earlier in a previous video. Now, for a little homework, look up particular types of switches, look up electronic schematics, electronic diagrams. I will get into all that, but it's always good to familiarize yourself first before you put it into application. Okay, here we are with another Mobius model. Woohoo! We've got the 39-inch Seaview from the movie Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. This is an awesome kit. Well, you can see the box and the box art. Obviously, Beautiful box art. Love it. Now let's open the box and see what's in it. Well, look here. In the box, we've got another box. So, obviously everything was very well boxed up and packaged very well. Let's have a look at all the parts, shall we? We've got some main hulls, forward and aft. Looks like the ship was cut up in midships. This is the 8-window sea view, just like the original movie. And this comes with a lot of stuff. A lot of parts. A lot of parts. A lot of good parts for doing the interior. Okay. Now I think I'm going to, I don't know when I'm going to have the time for it, but I'm going to try to turn this into an actual RC submarine. Probably won't get to that till spring because frankly, I don't have a whole lot of time for that kind of thing right now. And I've got too many guys that I'm doing build-ups for. And I need to stay focused on theirs before I go any further with this. Now I have briefly perused this box worth of stuff. But I looked at it earlier as well, and I looked at the directions. The directions are great. All the parts are crisp, clean, good edges. There is some cleanup. It looks like there's going to be cleanup on all the main parts, but the cleanup on the main primary hull, or the primary exterior hull of the main submarine, has very little cleanup that looks like it's necessary compared to that TOS Enterprise. I mean, this is a big ship too, but it looks like maybe Mobius did a little more quality control before they ship their product out. Now let me get to the directions and I'll show you everything that's included in this. And here are the directions. As you can see, you've got another shot of the sea view along with some read first instructions, painting the kit, decal application, beyond the basics, etc. Also, you've got yet another representation of the original painting without any of the lettering getting in the way. I fully intend on scanning this and enlarging it and printing it up to stick in the garage. You've also got, in the directions, a really nice set of full color orthographic projections of the model contained inside. Nice touch. Now, when you open it up, this is what you get. Clear, understandable, step-by-step instructions. As with anything with this number of parts, these many different components, I would suggest building the sub-assemblies first and painting, and before you do any of that, I'd make sure to read through the directions a couple of times so that you get a real good feel of where you're going to head with it. So, in summary on this review, I have to say that this is a damn fine kit. I'm relatively impressed. I mean, really. With the box art, the nice directions, the cleaned up parts, and everything all total, I got a heck of a deal on this. I don't know what the original suggested retail price was, but I know they were going for between 89 and 100, 100 and a half, 100 and a quarter. Now I picked this up for 48 bucks, so I'm really happy. I got a really good deal on it, and I can't wait to get into it. But I've got to finish up some of my builds first, so it'll probably be spring before I get started on this. Well, so much for that.